Today it's all about winning, even when you are losing. With this, you simply cannot lose. I'll help you with the right philosophy of life, leading to lifelong fitness. I'm talking here of contentment, equanimity, and acceptance. In my introductory video, you'll remember I had promised to provide help for lifelong fitness from several approaches. Have already done one for the body from medical sciences on intermittent fasting, and another one for the mind from neurosciences on meditation. Now this one is from something yet deeper and yet more effective. It is from a philosophy of life called contentment. It is well known that striving for happiness has made men even more unhappy. या रब ये भेद क्या है कि राहत की फिक्र ने इंसान को और गम में गिरफ्तार कर दिया? What a mystery! Striving for happiness has made men even more unhappy. Most unhappiness comes when our actions do not get the desired outcomes. We want all our actions to only have positive outcomes. But look around you. Do we find it happening to others? Who gets desired outcomes every time? Did Lord Rama get it? Or Jesus Christ? Or Prophet Mohammed for that matter? We know that all these three great men mostly had unhappy outcomes most of their lives. So are you demanding a fate even better than Lord Rama or Jesus Christ or Prophet Muhammad? Struggles and failures come and go. It happens all the time. Yin and yang have to happen. Another thing, how do you dub an outcome as negative and undesirable? How do you know that it would have really been bad for your life? People usually crib when they get late for some appointment, but I know of some cases where people actually thank their stars for getting late. I'm talking of the few dozen people who got late in reaching the Empire State Building on 9/11 in America. The delay saved them from the bombing. Of course, at that time, they did not know how getting late actually was been good for them. Here's James Stefurac. Being 20 minutes late that day saved his life. And here's John Keith. He had taken his car for repairs at 7 a.m., but the mechanics refused to work before 8. At that time, he fretted, little knowing that the delay would save his life. We also have the story of the Chinese farmer whose son got a horse. One day the horse ran off to the woods. When neighbors sympathized with him for his bad luck, the wise farmer said, "Who knows? It is to be good or bad." After some days, the lost horse came back and brought back another tree with him. Neighbors congratulated him on his good luck, and again he said, "Who knows? It's to be good or bad." Soon the son started riding and fell off and broke his leg. The neighbor sympathized. Again, who knows? It's going to be good or bad. People wondered how breaking a leg can ever be good. But some days later, army officials marched into the village to conscript all able-bodied men for war. They had to leave the little boy because he had a broken leg. Who knows even whether this was good or bad? You know, there's always an alternate story, only we don't know of it yet. This is shown so well in the 1998 movie Sliding Doors. In it, the lady rushes for a train on the London Underground, drops an earring, which was picked up by a man and handed back to her. However, that slight delay causes her to miss the train. Alongside, the movie also shows the alternate story in which she did not miss the train. The film continues alternating between these storylines. We see them both stories in parallel. Within each story, we see that the consequences of missing out the train turns out to be now good for her and now bad. Similarly, in the parallel story where she did not miss out the train, also turns out to be now good for her and now bad. So was missing out on the train good for her or bad? Who knows? Okay, Chinese fables and movie plots apart, let's work out this problem logically. For every misfortune that hits you, there are two possible consequences. Let's take both these possibilities one by one, assigning equal probabilities to both. Possibility 1. That misfortune could trigger off something good for you in future, like the case of the delay in reaching the Empire State Building resulted in the life being saved. In such a case, doesn't it make sense to thank the Lord for delaying you? Sometimes you get to realize how this delay actually saved you, but many a time you just do not get to know in what way you have been saved. So wouldn't it make good sense to at least not blame the Lord? Now let's take possibility 2, that is, the misfortune indeed had only bad consequences. In that case, harm's already done. Will cribbing and grumbling do you any good? No. So why not smile and move on? Cut the losses. As it appears in both cases, it makes better sense to not lament, just smile. Is it that difficult to do so? If it is, it must be so because we are culturally used to complaining. At least logically it makes sense to not do so. I have shown that the best strategy for you is to smile and move on. In any case, do we appreciate what we get? I think not. The value of everything diminishes if we get that thing. In that case, we start thinking like this: oh, this is fine. What next now? But if we don't get it, then its value just skyrockets and we endlessly crib. So what is the real value of that thing? There is no real value. It all depends on whether you got it or you didn't. There's a lovely piece of shairi by Shair Nida Fazli, Urdu poetry. It goes like this: दुनिया जिसे कहते हैं जादू का खिलौना है, मिल जाए तो मिट्टी है, खो जाए तो सोना है. What we call a world is a magical toy. If you get it, it's only as good as dirt. But if you miss it, it seems as precious as gold. In such a case, doesn't it make solid logical sense to adopt contentment as a life philosophy? So go on, adopt an attitude of contentment, equanimity and acceptance as your way to handle life and its stresses. If you decide to not complain, even the gods lose their power over you. Remember, nothing matters to the man who says, nothing matters. Missing a train is painful only if you ran for it. It would be best to follow the principle of this lovely song of movie Hum Dono. मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया, हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया, जो मिल गया उसी को मुक़द्दर समझ लिया, जो खो गया मैं उसको भुलाता चला गया. I kept adapting to life, kept getting rid of every concern with a puff, kept forgetting whatever I have lost, and kept treating whatever I did get as my destiny.